Hey everyone, so let's talk about the fastest way to cycle a new fish tank. I'm going to be cycling the 3-gallon Tough and Dazzle that is on the right, and the one on the left is the 5-gallon Tough and Dazzle, for those who want to know. And I'm going to be putting in the beta that is on top of my 5-gallon into the 3-gallon here. So there are different ways to cycle a tank. You can do a fission cycle, which we're going to be doing here using a biological booster. I use Tetra Safe Start, and I recommend Tetra Safe Start over any other one. Best that I've used and the best I've read off of the internets. You can do that. You can do a fission cycle where you actually use fish. You do not use a biological booster whatsoever, and you use hardy fish such as like Daniels or goldfish. This is not really, to me, this is not the best way or a really good way to do it. But you use them, you cycle the tank that way. You feed them like you normally would, and over time your good bacteria builds up, and it pretty much ends up pretty much killing your fish in some way, shape, or form. Whether it be it actually kills your fish or it just shortens their lifespan. So that is not the best way to do a cycle. Uh, Then you can also do fishless cycling. There's different ways of doing that as well. Using fish food, or using, some people use actually raw shrimp or other raw things and put in there, or using actual ammonia. If you guys want to do a fishless cycle, go ahead and YouTube it or Google it. But what we're going to be talking about here again is using a biological booster and a fish. And again, I'm using the Tetra Safe Start. Not a sponsor, but Tetra, if you want to be, let me know. Yeah, so we're going to be using this. So this bottle here is 3.38 ounces, 100 milliliters. This one will do up to 20 gallons. My tank is just a 3-gallon tank, so I'm going to be using just about half the bottle just to overkill it. So what you guys want to do is shake it up very well, and then you'll add in your beta and add in this stuff, or your fish or whatever. Again, though, I should mention that, like with any type of cycling, you do not want to add in too many fish to your tank, or whatever you're adding in, too much shrimp or too much anything, too much livestock to your fish tank at one time, because that can, even with a biological booster, because it still will take time for the good bacteria to actually form, if that makes sense. So you don't want to add in too many things at once, because you could end up crashing your tank still. So this is what we do. So my beta has been acclimated, of course. So you of course still want to acclimate your fish to your new tank. And this tank has actually been set up for a few days now. I just wanted to make sure that the heater was working that's in it. So again, what we're going to do is add in the fish. Again, mine is a male beta. He was in my 45, but he was having a rough time in the 45. I think they're just too tall for him. So he's going into his 3-gallon here. And then you just add in the biological booster. Yeah, I'm doing about half of my bottle. I would say it's better to go over than it is to go under. You don't want to be dumping like a bottle that's supposed to do 100 gallons or something into a 3-gallon tank. But I think a little bit over is good. And you see, it'll be a little bit cloudy. That's just all the good bacteria. Then he'll probably sit there for a little bit. Again, he's a little bit stressed out from being in the 45. Again, he was not doing too well. He was kind of hiding all the time. Yes, and over time that cloudiness will go away. That's just your good bacteria. And your tank will pretty much cycle now on its own a lot quicker than if you were to do a cycle without a biological booster. And now the reason why I like to use, again, Tetra, again, not a sponsor, but why I like to use this brand, is because it actually has the I don't know how to say this properly, nitrosonamas and the nitrospirita in it, which is your good bacteria, which is actually what will form naturally in a fish tank in an aquarium over time, whereas other brands use other types of good bacteria that I've heard over time actually end up dying off, and because they're not what's naturally in your tank or what would form naturally in your tank, they don't really get, I guess, replenished. So over time, you just have your good bacteria just dies off, and nothing really reforms itself. And then what does form actually gets outcompeted with by the other types of bacteria. So yeah. So that to me is probably one of the best ways to do a cycle. It's also going to be the quickest way to do a cycle without hurting or killing fish. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you think is the best way to do a cycle. And let me know what type of cycling you guys always do. Thank you all very much for watching as always. And I'll see you guys in the next vid. Have a good one. Goodbye.